In 1952, when this building was built, it was intended to be a smaller chapel with a larger, more permanent church built down the road.
So for 50 years or more, we've been wanting to build a new sanctuary. There's been many attempts along the way, and we sort of marshaled the forces and made a good run at it a couple of years ago, and we ran into some unexpected turbulence along the way.
We took a little hiatus thanks to some issues dealing with the city and the parking, and also dealing with our economy. And so, God willing, we had to take a break.
We explored other possibilities, purchasing property elsewhere, purchasing an abandoned building.
The congregation let us know in no uncertain terms that they wanted to stay on this piece of land. There was talk of moving away. That was part of the process that kind of put us on a longer-term track as far as getting the building built.
I think as we've continued to discern who and what God is calling us to be as a congregation, that only can strengthen the plans for the building and the building process itself too. So I wonder sometimes if maybe it's possible that we're right on schedule.
I've remembered seeing pictures here and there about, oh, this is a new sanctuary we're going to build someday. We're going to build it someday. And it's just so exciting to me that someday is now, and we're really going to get it built, and we're really going to move forward, and we're going to have this beautiful space that we're going to have for another 50 years.
The new building will pretty much stretch all the way out to the corner of California and Clay Street.
I'm so excited that we're finally going to be enlarging our worship space, our welcoming space, and our gathering space.
The new welcoming space will be much more spacious, and it will say welcome to folks, not, what are you doing here? We don't have room for you.
It looks really welcoming. It is a warm space that especially new families want to walk into something they feel comfortable with.
It'll be where we can mingle, where we can visit.
And that should be more welcoming, especially to people that haven't worshiped here before.
The new sanctuary will be full of natural light. I'm excited about that.
It's going to be way wider and way longer and way higher ceiling and way more windows. There's going to be windows all the way around along the top, and there'll be a huge window running down the middle of the roof line. So we're going to be surrounded in light.
I just think that light is very spiritual. I think that's just going to be a wonderful, beautiful space.
I mean, I think to have more air and light and space, to have more aisles, I think is great for families with kids and for anybody who just doesn't want to feel trapped in worship.
We'll have plenty of room for Sunday, and we'll have plenty of room for special events, and we shouldn't be, cheek to cheek on Easter and Christmas Eve.
I usher a lot on Easter Sundays, and I haven't sat inside the church on an Easter Sunday for I don't know how long. Just to be able to be in the church for Easter Sunday would be so exciting.
Plus the communion traffic. People celebrating Holy Communion can stay in the room. They don't have to go outside to get back to their seats.
Our worship space, soon to be our gathering space, I've often heard it described as cozy, and I think that the coziness will continue to be here.
For folks who've been around a long time, it will have a very comfortable feel.
It's a great place after the service to come and have coffee and meet with some other people.
It'll be so exciting to get to now dine with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, to have our smorgasbords with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John on the walls and our windows.
I've had youth say, I can't invite my grandparents because they probably can't make the stairs to something like their confirmation.
We have lots of folks who can't make it downstairs unless we physically lift them, so it'll be nice to have the space easily accessible to everyone.
The bricks have almost absorbed some of what has happened in this space, and we get to keep that. That gets to continue to be a part of us.
This is a wonderful space, and it has wonderful memories for everyone, and to use it as a fellowship hall, that's a big part of our church, is our fellowship. So it'll be wonderful to have us spill over into this part of the church.
We do so many youth and middle school, high school events throughout the year, and we have dinners, and we want to have a nice thing to honor people as they're, moving through the milestones of life.
Do you have more space for more programs, more education for kids and for young adults, and then also space for fellowship for all those generations to mix together? It knits a stronger community and a stronger church.
Having a nice space to have a nice event in is going to be something that youth and children and family use all throughout the year.
The way that we're building this building to accommodate all kinds of different groups and different kinds of activities, different ways of getting together, different ways of worshiping. I think kids will get that. And I think that it will be a testimony to what this very intergenerational congregation values.
We all acknowledge this is really a tough economy, and for some it's been more impactful than for others. But I think if we all look into our hearts and, to the best of our ability, contribute, make donation, and maybe sometimes it'll have to be a little bit of a sacrificial giving.
We are inviting everyone in the church, no matter what your circumstances, to be part of this, to give what you can, and to stretch. I'm going to have to stretch.
I realized that I could make a sacrificial gift, and it would impact my life. And so I've done that throughout my whole life. Doesn't mean it's easy, and sometimes it's a struggle.
Personally, I've closed my business this year and have some financial challenges, but that doesn't mean I can't find the room to make a sacrifice and contribute to this effort and to the yearly effort, as we always do.
Yeah, it will involve some sacrificial giving on everyone's part, but no one person has to do it all.
Maybe the biggest thing that children and youth get out of this whole process is the spiritual impact of seeing their parents and other adults in the church invest in something.
All this is God's property, and what we make of it is our own doing, and how we give back is our reflection of that love of God and all those many blessings that we've received.
The call of God will never take you where the grace of God cannot keep you. And I think about that in terms of this building project. If God is calling us to do this, then God will also enable us to do it.
I do think God is calling us to go in this direction and to do it, to get it built, as we say.
And we may not be able to see how exactly right now, or even several years from now. But I'd much rather take on a project we can't do without God's help than a project we say, oh, whether God helps us out or not, we can accomplish this.
We have a tentative project cost not to exceed of $3 million. We take $1 million from our existing building funds from our previous capital campaign and apply it towards the $3 million, and then we have a loan of $2 million to complete the project.
Our campaign is based on raising a minimum of $850,000, but we'd love to raise $1.2 million because that would reduce substantially the amount of loan that we have to take.
We're talking about a 3-year campaign, and if you break that down into, what does that mean per year, and what does that mean per month, and what does that mean to me on a weekly basis, I think it might be a lot easier for people to think about it.
Judging from our last effort in 2004, People found all kinds of ways to give, whether it was some capital gains that they gifted over, whether they sold a vehicle or just donated a vehicle, which was then sold. So there are many ways to contribute.
Probably one of the most common methods of giving with tax advantages is the gift of appreciated securities, basically common stocks and bonds.
But we never want to forget that our annual campaign to keep our church running, all the operational expenses that we have to be covered.
A new building on this corner is going to speak something in a new way to the local community, and I hope and I think it speaks to something good and something vibrant.
Yes, it's going to be a struggle, and yes, it's not going to be the easiest footprint to build on, but I think this is the place to be.
What's better than building a new house for God? It's really God's house.
I love the way that it invites us to consider and keep in front of us always the people who are not here yet.
The space will say, welcome to new folks. We have room for you here.